Ooh, what's up, everybody? My name is OMG WTF LOL F2W BRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWE. Yep, we changed the name. Give you guys a little bit of a preview of that. Look at this. We have changed the name. We are officially the WWE in the year 2002, and we're not booking the invasion angle no more. It is officially season 2. We're booking the brand era. Yeah, this is the brand era. The first ever draft in WWE history. Now that the WWF and WCW have been merged together as one, and the board, I think that's what they call them. I almost said the brand, but the board, Linda McMahon and the board of the WWE, the board of directors, that's what we call them. There we go. I know corporate stuff. They all decided that WCW, well, not really WCW, but Nitro is going to stick around along with Monday Night Raw, and they're going to be competing as brands now to, keep the spirit of competition alive, because as we all know, without competition, you kind of just flounder. And I mean, this is kind of essentially what WWE really did. So it's not really competition. It's pretty much just, instead of SmackDown, we've got Nitro now. But either way, it's no longer the invasion angle. We are now rebooking, or I guess booking the brand era, or whatever you want to call it. So this is going to be the very first draft as announced on Monday Night Raw. We got a couple of rules here. A rule in place here that may or may not come back a little bit later. I won't lie. I changed the rule to fit the angle that I wanted to do because I thought of the angle last minute and I was like, I like the angle too much. But because Monday Night Raw won on, Monday Night Raw, I guess I should say because Kane and the Dudley Boys won on Monday Night Raw against Edge and Chris Jericho and Christian, WWE will get the first draft pick, like the very first official draft pick, but I've decided to change that to pretty much they'll get the first pick for the first 5 picks, so they'll get the first draft pick for 1 through 5, and then WCW will get the final draft picks 6 through 10, pretty much. They'll get the first draft picks for that, so that's all I wanted to add. I didn't put that in the draft rules here. We do have some draft rules here. Of course, the WWE/WCW champions. I got to stop using that terminology. It's more Raw versus Nitro, not WWE versus WCW. Anyway, the respective champions will stay on their brands. So The Undertaker, Chris Jericho, Christian, who am I forgetting? Kane, and Trish Stratus will all be on Monday Night Raw for sure, while Nitro doesn't have a world champion at the moment. We'll get to that when we get to that. So there's no world champion representative, but they've got Edge, Chris Jericho, Christian, Rey Mysterio right now. Those are their guaranteed champions. And so they're all already on their brands. No drafting injured superstars, so superstars who are injured, which really aren't many superstars who are injured, but more or less the superstars who are suspended now or in rehab now because we did a huge company-wide drug test, which, by the way, fucking bit us hard in the ass, my guys. Holy shit. We went from having a 100% backstage rating to a freaking 0. We have a 0% backstage rating. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a little worried about it. I'm not sure if someone's going to walk out if they get mad or not. I don't know what's going to happen, so this will make it all sorts of interesting. Why did I drug test the whole locker room? I should have just suspended Scott Hall. Whatever. That's what I get. But yeah, our locker room rating is at a 0 now, so we'll definitely see a ding in our ratings there. So, oh golly, it's gonna be hard to get through for a while because it's just because everyone was drug tested and people were ousted for being steroid users or being drug users or marijuana smokers and so on and so forth. So yeah, kind of sucks. I didn't really think through with that whole thing. If I would have thought about the backstage thing, I wouldn't have done it. But anyway, so by saying there's no drafting injured superstars, that means I believe at least right now the three I can think of are the three who just got sent to rehab, which is Chris Benoit, Test, and that third person that slipped in my mind and Scott Hall. Duh. But he was part of the clique anyway, and the clique's kind of immune to the draft because, well, they made their announcement on Raw too. I'm trying to get through this as quick as I can because I know a lot of you guys are just like, I just want to get to the draft right now. But I won't lie to you. I'm going to be rambling for a little bit here, so I'll probably put like a link down below that says skip to this point if you want to see the show. Not going to lie. But anyway, moving forward, also people like X-Pac and all of them, they can't be drafted. Anyway, so I already mentioned the WWE gets first draft picks, blah, blah, blah. The Cruiserweight Championship is exclusive to Nitro, which, as I mentioned, Rey Mysterio is going to be over there. The Women's Championship is exclusive to Monday Night Raw. So if you want to be a woman wrestler or a female wrestler, whatever you want to call it, or call them, you'll be on Raw. And if you want to be in the Cruiserweight division, then you're automatically on Nitro. So certain superstars are pretty much guaranteed and really don't need to be drafted, such as like all the women pretty much, and majority of the Cruiserweight people who are eligible to compete for the Cruiserweight Championship. And the Hardcore Championship is going to be brandless, meaning because it's like a 24/7 rule and because it can be defended kind of anywhere at any time, meaning any superstar, pretty much anybody can win the championship. That's kind of the rules. And moving forward, I am going to try to put a little bit more emphasis on the hardcore part of the hardcore division. Oh, gosh. So there we have that. Well, we've got to pull that up a little bit later, so let's put the handy-dandy notepad down. And once again, before I click to the show, I do have one last thing I would like to go over with you guys real quick. And I will probably leave this bit in for the before the show part. So my apologies for you guys for kind of clickbaiting you. But this is kind of important to me, and I really want to hear your guys' feedback because it's going to directly affect this series. So it's taken me a little while to get Nitro up to you guys, and it's honestly taken me a little while to get a lot of these episodes up to you guys, despite me really knowing what I want to do with them. It really comes down to me writing down the angles, having to sit down, write out what every single person in every angle is saying and all that. And I don't mind doing that. I enjoy it. It's fun to me. But at the same time, it does take me a little while to do that stuff to get these episodes out to you guys. So here's what I'm proposing to you guys. I want you guys to legitimately comment down below, give me your opinion, let me know what you guys want, because like I said, this is going to affect the series. If you guys like the way the series is already, if you like me writing out the angles and, giving you pretty much what you'll see on an average episode of Raw or whatever it is with superstars, their dialogue going back and forth and all that, and kind of the cringy voices that we all know are a little cringy, but they're fun. All that kind of stuff. If you enjoy the way the shows are, just let me know. Say, don't change anything, man. I don't care if they're long. I don't care that you do the voices, and I love that you do all this stuff. Let me know if you guys like it or all that. But if you don't, if you want to see kind of shorter episodes, because I won't lie, my episodes have gotten longer and longer as we've kind of been covering these bigger episodes, and this is probably going to be a longer episode too, which apologies in advance. But if you guys kind of want the shorter episodes and you're not really a fan of the voices, which I can understand some people maybe aren't, and while the writing out may be cool to you, or you may not just outright like it, you can do with that. We can kind of go with a different route, and I can kind of maybe just give you guys a general idea of what's going on in the angle without having to say like, oh, well, Vince McMahon said this and Shane McMahon said this. Pretty much just telling you they're going out there, this is what they're generally saying to each other, and this is what, the angle's all about. Kind of giving you that basic rundown of the angle without having to write it all down, and making the episodes go by a little faster in the process and doing away with the voices. So, again, I'd really appreciate hearing your guys' feedback, and I know I've been asking a lot of you guys with voting on things and all that, and I'm most likely going to be asking you guys again for a new poll for a new series, but I like hearing your guys' feedback, and it really helps me with the channel because it shows me what you guys want to see, and I don't do another WWE versus TEW thing. So yeah, just comment down below. I'm not going to do a poll or anything. Just leave me your comment. Do you like the series as it is, or would you like to see maybe a different take on it with, maybe less specifics and more just telling me what it is and shortening the episodes altogether? Anyway, I'm going to take a quick drink here because I've just been rambling on forever. Okay. And I'm going to get started. Let's do this. Sorry for taking forever, guys. I know you guys have been waiting a long time for this episode, so here we go. We have one pre-show match, and oh boy, is it bad. It's got a 16 F+ rating. Good lord. And an abysmal pre-show match here. We have the new dub team of the Samoan Savages, which are Kimu and Umaga. I have renamed him Umaga. I don't know. I didn't like his other name. Plus, he's Umaga. We've got pictures anyway. So Kimu and Umaga, they're kind of making their, I don't know, main roster. They're officially called up. But anyway, the Samoan Savages go over the local team of Jason Blade and Tim Arson. And oh boy, Tim Arson, not a fan favorite here. Samoan Savages defeat Jason Blade and Tim Arson in 5 minutes 35 seconds. After Umaga defeats Tim Arson with this wild Samoan drop. And Tim Arson, the weak link. Good lord, man. Good lord. Hot crowd, very against Tim Arson, chanting for him not to come back. Tim Arson, that's your first match, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. Anyway, Kimu, surprisingly, is the star of everybody here with his 23 in-ring performance. Umaga with the 21. Jason Blade with a 13. And Tim Arson with a 3. My man, Tim. What did you do? I hired him because he looks kind of like Ripper Savage from the Local to Global series, but Tim Arson, my gosh. Kimu's improving in his performance, and Jason Blade improving in Rumble and performance skills. So Jason Blade made the best of his appearance here tonight. All right, here we go with the start of the show here, and we open up with a 70 C+ rating. Mind you, again, the backstage rating is at a 0, so we are definitely going to be seeing it in the ratings here tonight. I'm just saying. I would definitely expect this to do a lot better than it is, but let's just go to the backstage here. Yeah, look. Low locker room morale. I mean, everyone's got high morale because they got like a huge-ass bonus, but yeah. Anyway, so we got Mean Gene. He's standing in the parking lot. He's awaiting the arrival of Vince McMahon. Of course, Vince McMahon usually doesn't arrive to Nitro, so this is a big deal. And limousine pulls up. Out comes the owner of the WWE. And Mean Gene, rest in peace, begins to speak and he goes, Mr. McMahon, welcome to Thursday Night Nitro. And Vince kind of gives him that death glare, and he proceeds to go, I know Shane must have sent you out here just to get on my nerves. But that's not going to work. Because you see, I'm the one with the advantage tonight. Not only do I get the first pick, but I also go in with the element of surprise. Element of surprise? What on earth could you mean? Well, Gene, I'm glad you asked. Because you and I know, along with the whole world, know that Shane McMahon's general manager is none other than Ric Flair. But who have I picked? Is it Mick Foley? What about Paul Heyman? Maybe I went out and found someone no one expected at all. Well, any chance you'd give an old friend a hint? You know what, Gene, for you? Yeah, I'll give you a huge hint. The Raw General Manager is not Mick Foley, and it is not Paul Heyman. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a draft to start. And we open up with a huge starter of the night, revealing that the two favorites to be the Raw General Manager, Mick Foley and Paul Heyman, aren't even getting the job. They aren't even getting the job. So that adds a little bit more speculation to who it is, although I'm sure a lot of you guys are guessing by now. And I should have said spoiler report, but I didn't. So we jump off to our opening angle of the night. Damn it, I thought there was something else. Anyway, 84B plus rating here as we have two podiums sitting atop of the entryway. The announcers are kind of just going over the rules that I told you guys about a little bit earlier on. If you skip through it, whatever, it doesn't matter. And we wait to get the very first ever Nitro Raw draft underway. And first out is the owner of WCW, Shane McMahon, who is shortly followed by the arrival of the WCW general manager. I got to start saying Nitro, Ric Flair, who kind of gives Shane the cold shoulder. You know, Shane McMahon goes over, goes to shake his hand to Ric Flair, a sign of a new era. But Ric Flair just kind of like laughs at him, and he doesn't even shake his hand. He just steps up to the podium and he begins to speak, and he goes, "Woo! Does it feel good to be here or what? I know some of you bought tickets to see SmackDown, but the Nature Boy has some bad news for you because WCW Nitro is here to stay." Horrible Ric Flair impersonation, but I don't care. I'm going with it. Woo! No thanks to Shane over here, and all thanks to his lovely mother, Linda. Hey, Linda, I know you're watching, so anytime you want to step out of the office, just remember that old Yeller here has 2 tickets to the front line of Space Mountain, baby, if you know what I'm saying. And that's when Shane McMahon steps in for obvious reasons, and he goes, "Okay, Rick, that's enough. Have you been drinking? Because I don't very much appreciate being called out on my own show, and I'd really appreciate you never speaking." Hold on, got to pull up our notepad here. "My mother's name again, or it won't be Space Mountain you'll be riding. It'll be the highway to hell." And Ric Flair kind of steps up to him, maybe unbuttons his cufflinks. What is this? Jesus. Anyway, and he goes, "Are you threatening me, McMahon?" And then Shane also steps up and he goes, "Oh, I promise you, Rick, it's more than a threat." And as things are starting to get tense between the owner and the general manager of Nitro here, that's when Vince McMahon's music interrupts him, and out comes the owner of the WWE, and that's when OMG goes ahead and takes a drink because, whoo boy, here comes Vince. Okay. Here we go. "Well, I don't mean to interrupt this touching moment between future stepdad and stepson, but I think we got a draft to start. Oh, and hey Rick, let me be the first to tell you when I say Linda McMahon is way too much of a woman for you to handle." Again, Shane steps in for obvious reasons. "Okay, I'm not having this discussion about my mother. So like you said, Vince, let's get the draft started. So bring out your general manager that's going to shock the world, because as we all just found out, it's not Foley and it's not Heyman." "That one got you shaken up there, didn't it, Shane?" "No, Shane, you're right. Mr. Foley and I have decided to depart from our agreement as he wishes to spend more time with his family. And as for Mr. Heyman, well, I've got another project for Mr. Heyman that I'd like him to be the head of. Which led me to make a call to a man who can't stand the both of you. A man who knows WCW like the back of his thumb. Which is why Raw's newest general manager is none other than the man who used to run WCW, Eric Bischoff." And then that's when we hear that familiar, "I'm back, and I'm better than ever, bottom that, and I'm making things better." Eric Bischoff's themes, you got to keep the I'm Back theme song. You just have to. His music plays over the loudspeakers, and out comes Eric Bischoff of all people. What a surprise, even though people have probably been calling this forever. To the surprise of not only Shane McMahon, not only Ric Flair, but to everybody in the arena, including commentary team. By the way, Bobby Heenan, Dusty Rhodes, and Jim Ross are the commentary team here tonight. Mike Tenay and Jerry Lawler are sitting this one out. And the commentary team is, by God, Eric Bischoff, as God is my witness, hell has frozen over. And Dusty Rhodes is just like, I'd have never dreamed in my entire life I'd have seen Eric Bischoff and Vincent Kennedy McMahon standing here together, shaking hands on live TV, baby. I can't believe it. That was a damn good Dusty impersonation. I don't usually do a pretty good Dusty, but I would give myself a pat on the back for that one. And, of course, like I said, they shake hands, and Vince pulls him in for that hug. That's, that hug that went worldwide when Eric Bischoff and Vince hugged in real life. So they do that whole thing. Vince raises his arm. Everyone's just like, oh, my God. I remember hearing Vince McMahon wish death upon Eric Bischoff. All that stuff. Anyway, Eric Bischoff takes to the mic, and he goes, Mr. McMahon, I just want to thank you for taking a chance on me and giving me this opportunity, and I promise you, I won't let you down. Eric, I know you won't, and please, call me Vince. And then Shane, oh God, can we stop with this Romeo and Juliet love story and get on with it already? I actually agree with you, Shane. So Eric, as a sign of true faith, and that the past is behind us, I want you to make the first draft pick. Seriously? Wow. Thanks, Thanks, Vince. And you're not going to regret this one, because Monday Night Raw's first draft pick is going to be the first major punch in the gut to WCW. Because we're drafting none other than Goldberg. And then we get that huge... I'm not doing the whole cliche superstars in the back watching the thing. Although, maybe that's what's going on. But I that's too much for me right now. I'm not doing all that. So I figured pretty much what we would just have happen here is... I could have done it for this angle, but for certain angles, I can't have every superstar drafted in the one thing. So I figured if I can't do it for all the angles, I'm not doing it for every one of them. So that's why I didn't do it, if you're wondering. Anyway, I imagine those stupid little, whatever you call it, like the Titantron shows, like Goldberg standing next to, like, the Raw logo or something like that. And everyone's kind of reacting, Goldberg as the first draft? Goldberg is a WWE, a Monday Night Raw superstar? Something like that. And Vince McMahon's just kind of sitting in the back. He's pleased. He's like, not a bad pick, not a bad pick. Shane McMahon is clearly annoyed that Eric Bischoff has, picked Goldberg. And Ric Flair just doesn't care. He's like, whatever, Goldberg, who cares? Big deal. And then Shane goes, well, Dad, I'll give you credit when credit's due. I didn't expect Eric Bischoff, of all people, to be your general manager. And I certainly didn't think he'd start off the draft with the WCW guy. But you started off with the wrong WCW guy. Because while Goldberg is impressive, he's not the face of WCW. Because that is our first pick. And his name is... And Ric Flair cuts Shane McMahon off right before he goes to say the name. We all know he's going to say... Boogity! And Ric Flair cuts him off and he talks into the mic and he goes... The Rock. And Shane and Vince at the same time, what? And again, more shock and awe as like now the Rock's picture shown on the Titantron and we see him next to like the logo or whatever. And JR and them are just shocked like, The Rock is now a Nitro superstar. So it's kind of crazy that the first superstar is picked in a draft. Goldberg is now working for Monday Night Raw. Rock is now working for Nitro. So it's kind of the big surprise to start it off. And like I mentioned before, Titantron shows up with a still shot of Goldberg with the Raw logo behind him. Vice versa with Rock and the Nitro logo. And like I said, then the commentators just putting over how shocked they are with the first two picks. Or I should say, I guess first two picks, but the first picks for both brands. And then, of course, with the reveal of Eric Bischoff. And we're gonna stop it there for the first, for the draft. We'll see the other picks a little bit later on, of course. But yeah, first picks of the night go to Goldberg and the Rock. Goldberg going the Raw, Rock going the Nitro, and Eric Bischoff, the general manager. Vince McMahon working the crowd well here, using freedom to improvise. Good stuff. 84B plus, so that's not too bad to be honest. Eric Bischoff got in the above average on his authority figure gimmick. Hell yeah, so he debuted pretty well. And he also improvised well, which that's promising. He's also getting better at his gimmick. Eric Bischoff made the best of his appearance here tonight. Only thing that would have made it better if this got like excellent or something. Bobby Heenan, not pretty good. We're probably going to have to take him off color commentary here shortly, which is a shame. Angle got the crowd hotter. Apparently Eric Bischoff did underperform. It's probably because of his popularity. Ric Flair did that face turn. Gained some heat with the Rock and Shane McMahon thing. And there we have it. Of course, everyone with that low locker room morale, but we'll see how bad it dings us so bad tonight. We then go on to, them hyping up for the first, just announced for the first time ever, the very two first draft picks will face each other as Raw's superstar Goldberg will take on The Rock, who represents Nitro, of all things, tonight in our main event. So pretty much just hyping that we'll see Rock and Goldberg for the first time ever. I'd imagine that would get a little bit more hype for that. And then we go to a 78 solid B as we are back from our commercial break. And we're in the WCW management office. And Shane McMahon begins to question Flair. And he goes, "What was that about?" "What? Drafting Rock? Come on, Shane. You gotta let bygones be bygones. You may not like The Rock, but he was the right choice." "No, the right choice would have been a WC faithful like..." Oh, what the hell? Wrong one. "Like who? Booker T?" "Yeah, someone exactly like Booker T." "I don't know. What about your protege, Chris Benoit?" "You know very damn well, McMahon, I haven't heard from Benoit since Mania. So don't start this again." If you can't tell me where Benoit is, then you can at least admit that you drafted Rock solely to piss me off. "And what if I did, McMahon?" And then, again, as things are getting a little tense between Shane and Ric Flair here, that's when Sir Regal knocks on the door. I know we called him Lord Regal in the past, but the thing that's always sat in the back of my mind is a comment that someone made, how William Regal hated being called Lord Regal, so I decided to finally budge, and I think Sir Regal sounds better anyway. I don't know why. I love the name Sir or something. Like, I had Sir Nicholas Magnus, now I have Sir Stephen Regal. Anyway, he knocks on the door before slowly opening it, and he goes, "Excuse me, gentlemen. I hope I'm not interrupting, but I was hoping I could have a word." "Come in, Steve. What's up?" "Well, I was wondering about the draft. You see, I get the feeling your father has it out for me, and I'm quite fearful that..." Again, got to go to the handy-dandy notepad. "I'm bad." Good song. What the hell is it? Jeez. There we go. "I'm very fearful he might draft me tonight out of spite, and... well, I was hoping that you two would at least consider drafting me in tonight's draft. I mean, after all I've done for Nitro as being its commissioner, you could save me from the wrath of that old man." And then Shane looks at him and he goes, "Well, Steve, I won't lie. I mean, I can't promise that because the draft is so unexpected. I mean, my dad just drafted Goldberg first of all people. So it's safe to say I don't know who's next. But I'll try." I appreciate that, Mr. McMahon. Thank you." And then Rick butts in, "I wouldn't get your hopes up, though, sunshine." And kind of looking at Regal with a little bit of a smile. So you can see Rick, of course, like it says right here, he's teasing that face turn. He's at odds with Shane, obviously, because Shane could have won, and he should have won. WCW beat WWE at WrestleMania, but because, Shane got a little cocky and decided, I'm going to take it one step further and try to, make my dad the janitor. And he put it all on the line, and now here they are as a brand instead of WCW ruling all. So Rick's kind of giving him the cold shoulder, and well, Regal was kind of, I would imagine Regal maybe being in competition for this role with with Flair for the general manager position, considering Flair is the GM now and Regal was the commissioner. Anyway, Shane McMahon, masterful job, improvising. Ric Flair improvised well. Regal, he did his job. He did neither great nor bad. 78B, this isn't too bad, to be honest, right now. These ratings. I'm not too upset with them. We'll see how the matches go. Hey! Hey, this didn't do too bad. So this is kind of a cruiserweight showcase. Majority of the matches tonight are just going to be showcases for the divisions. I should have done a women's match, to be honest. But anyway, kind of like a cruiserweight showcase here, just kind of, show the future of the cruiserweight division. 57 C- rating here. And the reason why I said this isn't too bad is because I made this a high spots match. Kind of like with the hardcore division, I'm going to try to focus a little bit more on like the hardcore elements. I want to focus a little bit more on like cruiserweight elements, like, not really necessarily high spots, but really focusing on a lot of people, not just in cruiserweight and hardcore, but a lot of people's specifics too. You like playing to a lot of people's strengths a lot. Apparently, this was a terrible match, though. 57 C-, I don't think is too bad for a lot of these guys who are really not that well known. We have a terrible matchup here. This is kind of a number one contendership match next week on Nitro. Whoever wins this match, which Billy Kidman won, will face Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight Championship. Billy Kidman goes over Grandmaster Sexay, Jamie Noble, Chavo Guerrero Jr., a new superstar, Primetime, Elix Skipper. He's one of our call-ups. And Das Wunderkid, Alex Wright, in 10 minutes, 9 seconds, when Billy Kidman defeats Alex Wright with the Shooting Star Press. Announcing quality helped lift this matchup. Color commentary helped too, so I think that's the first time Heenan's actually ever helped. Alex Wright had an in-ring performance of a 48. Grandmaster Sexay with a 51. Jamie Noble with a 44. Chavo with a 57. Elix Skipper with a 37. I definitely think this helped Elix Skipper because I can't imagine him doing... I think he would have done worse, honestly, because of his popularity. And Billy Kidman with a 58. So I don't want to say... I think they all did pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I think they all did pretty good. I mean, Elix Skipper was the worst, but a 37 is still very impressive for his debut match for a guy who honestly has like little to no popularity, I think, at this moment. I'd like to imagine that all these guys did good. I can't remember what their ratings were beforehand, but I don't think they were much better than this. So if they didn't do better than their normal ratings, then they definitely at least kept to the average. What do we got here? Handle changes? Oh, we got a gimmick change. I guess. Oh, he's got a below average gimmick. He's a foreigner, which makes no sense. We're just gonna make him a cocky youth. I mean, his name is Primetime, so. And above average. Hell yeah. There you go, Skipper. Yeah, Skipper's on to a promising start here. Good for him. Any worker improvements? Grandmaster Sexay is improving in his rumble and his performance skills, and Elix Skipper once again making the best of his. Good for you, Elix. Improving in his technical. Good stuff. So as you can see, here's a little bit of a preview of the Cruiserweight division. Grandmaster Sexay is going to be in there, so two cools kind of split up, to be honest. And, yeah. I like this. Let's see if anybody complains. Nobody complained. Nobody said it didn't play to their spots. I think we figured something out there, guys. 88 B+ rating here. Are we recording? Okay, I got worried. 88 B+ rating here. So we go back after the match. We go right back to the podium. We got Vince McMahon and Bischoff. They're ready to make their next pick. They still have up to number 5 for the first picks here, and because that may or may not play to an angle later. And Vince steps up to the podium. He clears his throat. And he goes, "Raw's next pick is a legend in our industry. A man that both Eric and I have worked closely with over the years. And look forward to working with in the coming years. Raw's second pick is none other than the immortal Hulk Hogan." And Hulk Hogan, "When the red, white, and blue run into his vein." I said that wrong. I don't think that's "You gotta make a stand in the USA." Hulk Hogan, the whole Tron thing. He's now a Raw superstar. So Raw's got Goldberg and Hogan at the moment. Shane goes, "Well, Dad, you can have Hulk Hogan. Because as far as I'm concerned, you just missed out on the hottest free agent out there. Or at least, he was the hottest free agent out there. Because now he's Nitro's second draft pick. And that man is Booker T." And of course, Booker T, he's now announced as Nitro, so obvious pick there for Shane. And then Bischoff even points it out. I think it's safe to say we all saw that one coming. But before I get on with the draft, and I know we've got to be careful with our time, but I just like to say, while I will miss the cruiserweights, my creation, over on Monday nights, I will be happy. Hold on. Got to pull up the handy dandy notepad. Blue's Clues Steve would be proud that I've used that. Oh, okay. I was going to say, are we already over this? I'll be much happier spending my Mondays surrounded by so many beautiful women in the women's division. With that being said, Raw's third draft pick is Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he says that very quickly before sitting back down while Shock McMahon just kind of sits there and he looks over kind of at Bischoff and can't just begin to kind of be like, what in the hell are you thinking? Like maybe like whispering over him, why'd you draft Stone Cold Steve Austin? Because Bischoff kind of used the whole cruiserweight women's division not only to put over like, yeah, the cruiserweights are exclusive to Nitro and the women division is gonna be exclusive to Raw, but by the way, my draft pick's Stone Cold. And that's when Rick kind of steps up to the mic. He's laughing and he goes, well, you two have fun with the Texas rattlesnake. My next pick won't come as too surprising to many given my past with this man. But despite everything we've been through, WCW wouldn't be WCW without him. Which is why Nitro's picked Sting as its third draft pick. And now Vince McMahon steps up to the podium once again. He takes a deep breath. Maybe even does a little bit of a gulp. And he's, as a show of, good faith and working into the future with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Monday Night Raw drafts his protege, Rhino. So Vince McMahon obviously only I mean, Rhino's a big pick. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Rhino's actually a really big pick because he's fucking pretty popular. But, it's also a way kind of like to show good faith to Austin, as he mentioned there, like, oh, we drafted Rhino. See, we're trying to work together. And Shane even kind of talks about that a little bit here, and he goes, great cover there, Dad. Looks like the friendship between McMahon and Bischoff is off to a great start already. My draft pick is not only a great draft pick for the future of WCW Nitro, but also for the protection of them from you, Dad. Because you see, my draft pick was a man who jumped ship from working for you to working for me. And I won't let your pettiness drive their career to the ground. Which is why WCW Nitro drafts, and a little bit of delay here because I imagine Rick's kind of looking up at him. And a lot of people are thinking that he's going to draft Regal at this moment because, Regal asked him. And he's kind of been, Regal kind of fits all those qualifications. But it's not Regal, it's the Giant. And then Eric finally steps up and he goes, okay, let's end this session already. I was like, wait, doesn't WCW? But I'm pretty sure that's pulled up here. Anyway, let's end this session already, shall we, guys? For Monday Night Raw's 5th draft pick, we draft a man that you've got, or at least you should have a great amount of respect for Flair. Because he made you tap out at WrestleMania. I had to pull it up. The other notepad up. Raw's 5th draft pick is the Olympic hero, Kurt Angle. And then Rick, I'll give you that, Eric. Kurt's a damn good pick, and it's a damn shame you picked him before me, because he was actually my next pick. My backup option, though, is still a deserving top 5 contender, and he has my respect. WCW's 5th draft pick is a WCW legend himself, Mr. Diamond Dallas Page. And then a recap of the draft is shown, and I think I'm just going to... never mind, that would take a little while. You guys know who's been drafted. We'll show the brand afterwards. I know I told you guys I would do that, which, again, might be a long video. Sorry. But anyway, there we have that. So we are now up to number 5. Vince McMahon, of course, improvised well. Apparently, Eric Bischoff struggled going off script this time. Come on, Eric. Shane McMahon enjoyed going off script, as did Ric Flair. So Bischoff feeling the pressure here. Heenan still weak. Crowd was hot. Bischoff looked lost. Flair still teasing that face turn. Why is... Oh, because Vince is wished in this angle. Didn't think that through. We then go to a 70 C+ rated angle here. As backstage, Steven Regal can be seen pacing around. He's biting his nails. He's nervous. He thinks McMahon's going to draft him, and he can't help to notice that the WCW North American champion is sitting there, and he's just snickering as Regal passes by him. And Regal looks over at Edge, and he goes, "Something funny, Sunshine?" Edge looks back at him and goes, "Yeah, you. I beg your pardon?" "I didn't stutter, Regal. You're the joke here. You've always been so overconfident, even before the WCW invasion. You took a chance and you bet on WCW, and now you have to pay for it when Mr. McMahon and Eric Bischoff make a fool out of you every Monday night. You watch how you speak to me. I may not be commissioner for much longer, but I'm still commissioner for tonight. And you know what? You think that title protects you from being drafted. Well, it doesn't, because you may not be champion much longer." "What are you trying to say?" "What I'm saying is you're going to defend that championship tonight, and you'll be defending it against me." And then Edge kind of stands up from wherever he was sitting down, and he laughs in Regal's face as he gets in, and he goes, "All right, I'll see you out there, Sunshine." And we've got a North American Championship match as Regal's last-ditch effort is to challenge Edge for the North American Championship. And, well, if he beats Edge, he's immune to be drafted. If he doesn't, well, he could be going to Monday nights. We'll see. No worker improvements there. And I'd imagine that Regal's kind of the one who booked tonight's show while Ric Flair and Shane McMahon are busy with the draft. Regal's last line of duty was to book this show, and then he's no longer commissioner after this week because he could be drafted too. So that's why I'd imagine he'd still have this power to do that, by the way. It makes sense to me, at least. We then go to a hardcore championship matchup here because Tess was one of the superstars that got suspended / sent to rehab. And I figured the way we write this off is that Tess was injured. I don't know, doing something. Maybe at WrestleMania or something. He was injured, and he had to vacate the hardcore championship pretty much. And now we have the hardcore championship, which is also kind of a highlight for the hardcore division here as well to showcase what they can do for the future. So a 69C plus, again, not too bad. I think with the backstage rating being so down, this could have been better, but looking at everybody's ratings, they don't look like they did too bad anyway. So we have about that had decent wrestling here, but not much weighing heat. Sabu, the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu, goes over Vampiro, Tommy Dreamer, Spike, Raven, and Rob Van Dam in 10 minutes 4 seconds when Sabu defeated Spike Dudley with a springboard DDT, maybe through a table or something because he's a Dudley. I'm pretty much dropping that hardcore Holly angle, so I don't know if we're going to continue calling him Spike or maybe just change him back to Spike Dudley. Who knows? Anyway, Sabu wins the hardcore championship here, and Spike was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance. Raven seemed off his game. Come on, Raven. Rob Van Dam getting better at his gimmick. Raven, in-ring performance of a 69. Vampiro with a 66. Tommy Dreamer, 53. Spike with a 44. Sabu with a 63. And Rob Van Dam with a 77. So RVD definitely shown in this match. But I think RVD's a bit above the Hardcore Championship, so I really didn't want to give it to him. Besides, we don't have Sabu around much longer, so I feel like giving him one more reign with the Hardcore title and seeing where it goes with that. Raven's improving in his Rumble. Good stuff there. Oh, apparently Vampiro is not a hardcore-based wrestler. I disagree. I might edit that a bit. I heavily disagree. 82, solid B rating here. As backstage, we see all 4 of the WWE/WCW representatives in an office together. And Vince McMahon begins to speak, and he says, "All right, gentlemen, in the interest of speeding things up here, why don't we draft our next 4 superstars now, and with the North American Championship match on the line, or excuse me, with the North American Championship on the line, we save the last draft pick for after that title match." And Shane, he protests. He goes, "No way. You only want to do that because if Edge loses, he'll be on your show." "You don't know that. Maybe I want Regal. You ever consider that?" All right, look, shut up. The both of you. Vince is right. We need to speed things up and stop with this bickering. The deal was since you guys won on Monday, you get the first draft pick for the first 5, and now we get the first draft pick for the last 5 picks. So Shane, make your pick already. And Shane goes, well, I don't very much appreciate being told what to do. In this case, I'll follow through. But first, Dad, how about we make a deal? For the 6th pick, let's each pick a tag team. You agree?
Fine with me.
Good. With that being said, WCW's next draft pick, or should I say next draft picks, are Scott and Rick, the Steiner brothers.
Well, if you're going to pick the brother duo of the Steiners, then we'll pick the brother duo of the Hardy Boys.
All right, at number 7 WCW drafts, who in my opinion was the WCW MVP in the invasion, we draft former Canadian champion Lance Storm. Eric, Lance Storm? Lance Storm? Seriously? Oh yeah, that pick's gonna put butts in the seats. Let me show you what a real exciting pick looks like. For WWE's 7th draft pick, we pick Rob Van Dam. Then Shane, he takes a little bit of offense. Oh, you want excitement, do you? Well, let me tell you, it doesn't get much more exciting than WCW's 8th pick, the innovator of offense, Chris Kanyon.
All right, then. Interesting pick there, Shano, but not as interesting as our 8th pick, and that man is Bradshaw.
Oh, God, that one hurt me. And Rick looks back at him, kind of like, seriously? And he goes, I thought we were picking exciting picks here, not sluggish hosses. For WCW's 9th pick, we pick Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero. And then finally, Eric goes, be careful who you call sluggish. Call a sluggish hoss, Regal. Oh, I said Regal. That was supposed to say Rick. Oops. Be careful who you call a sluggish hoss there, Rick, because while Bradshaw, my next pick, may not be as agile or as quick in the ring, they'll be sure to take your head off in a moment's notice. The WWE's 9th pick is Albert. Feels weird saying that. Is Albert. Like, okay. And then a recap of the current draftees is shown there. So in this round, WWE got the Hardy Boys. They got Rob Van Dam. They've got... what am I talking about here? They got Bradshaw, and they've got Albert and Nitro. Got Steiners, Kanyon, Lance Storm, and Eddie Guerrero. And our final pick will be after the North American Championship match because the title's up for grabs, so one of those superstars could very well be drafted. Eric Bischoff improvised well, so he made up for that last segment that he didn't. We then go to an 88 B+ rating here, as Mean Gene is backstage, and he's about to interview The Rock, as we see here. And he goes, well, WCW fans, joining me now is the newest signee to WCW, The Rock. And Rock, I can tell by the look on your face that you're none too happy about this. And Rock goes, Mean Gene, The Rock's home was the WWF. The Rock's family has grown up inside the WWF. SmackDown, the show Nitro has replaced, was The Rock's show. And while The Rock would like to blame Shane McMahon for this, The Rock would love to blame Shane O'Mac for trying to make The Rock's life a living hell. But The Rock can't, because it was the Nature Boy, Ric Flair himself, who drafted the Great One. The Rock's not happy, but The Rock isn't going to complain either. Because The Rock doesn't have time to complain when he's got a man-beast like Goldberg breathing down his neck. All The Rock can do is look forward to the future, Mean Gene. And The Rock's future right now is Goldberg. So after I'm done laying the smackdown down on Goldberg's candy ass and sending his ass packing to Monday nights, I'm coming after Shane O'Mac next. And if you smell what The Rock is cooking, he does this whole thing there. Mean Gene looked dreadful. I disagree. Rock came across as well, though. I mean, Rock's rated at 100 at everything, so that's not a surprise. 63 solid C rating here. I didn't write out much dialogue here because it really doesn't matter. Regal, he's walking by, getting ready for his matchup for the North American Championship. And Vince and Eric Bischoff are standing there because, they're going to have to draft right after this, so they're going to have to be there. And Vince McMahon, as Regal walks up, he kind of mockingly,
"Oh, hey, Steve. Good luck out there."
And then him and Bischoff just kind of laugh as Regal just kind of, maybe adjust his little wristband or whatever and heads out to get ready for the match. And we have our matchup. 76 B- rating here. North American Championship is on the line. And a decent matchup. Sir Steven Regal does it. Sir Steven Regal beats Edge in Edge's first title defense, too. What a shame. Beats him in 12 minutes, 43 seconds with the power of the punch. After a distraction from Lance Storm. Storm is not done with Edge here. And he comes out, and Edge sees him coming out. So obviously he swings for Lance Storm and tries to take him out. But unfortunately that distracts the referee as well. And Regal takes full advantage of that time. Gets those brass knuckles on his hand. Knocks Edge right in the jaw. And wins the North American Championship. So Sir Steven Regal is safe. He is Nitro bound. He is the North American Champion. Regal with an in-ring performance of a 69. Edge with an in-ring performance of a 78. Did lose heat to the feud, but that's okay. 76 rating all around. No worker improvements though. Let's see this dirt sheet. What? A lot of bonuses here, so it really looks okay. So just Regal's got stamina, so he really can't go all that long. I got to remember that. Locker room morale, definitely. Apparently penalized for a short match length. So just that always confuses me. He's got low stamina though. Like, how is that my fault? If I guess you just got to take the ding on one. Whatever. Nothing can be perfect, I guess. We then go to a 76 B- rating because as soon as the match is over, of course, all four representatives were out there watching the match because, like I mentioned earlier, they're drafting directly after this matchup. Vince McMahon takes to the mic and he goes,
"Well, congratulations, Regal. For once, I was actually rooting for you. Because now that you're champion, that means that I can draft Edge. And to think that you'd actually think I would waste a draft pick on you."
And Vince begins to, what? What am I trying to say? Explain him? I don't know what the hell I meant there. Anyway, Shane McMahon is trying to get Vince McMahon's attention while he's just rambling on here. Like, why would I ever waste a draft pick on William Regal of all people? You know what I mean? And then Shane McMahon finally gets his attention. He goes, "Hey Pops, while I hate to be the bearer of bad news, actually that's a lie. I love to bring you bad news. It's not your pick, Pops. It's mine."
What'd you say?
I said it's not your pick, Pops. It's mine. And with that being said, WCW Nitro's 10th and final pick is former WCW North American Champion Edge. Because honestly, what would WCW be without its inaugural champions to represent the history of this company? And that is the whole reason I did that angle. So I could have Shane McMahon draft Edge and Regal win the title and it'd be like a whole...
What'd you say?
Sometimes I do the stupidest things. But yeah. Anyway, Vince McMahon goes,
well, Shane, I hate to say it, but good play. I guess this means we've got to go with our backup plan there, Eric. WWE's final draft pick is the winner of the Immunity Battle Royal, Mark Jindrak.
And there you have it. The draft is over. All 10 draft picks have been made, with the final draft picks being former North American Champion Edge and Mark Jindrak. And we move on to our next segment. We go to an 87 B+ rating. As before going to the commercial break,
Security officer is seen knocking on Goldberg's door, and out, he comes, of course, to be escorted out to the ring for the Goldberg Rock match coming the Goldberg Rock match coming up. But as he's making his way towards the ring, or I don't know, whatever you want to say, as he's making his way down the hallway, Rhino comes out of nowhere and he gores the security guards pretty much in front of Goldberg, taking out majority of the guards in the process, but he pretty much only spears the one in front of Goldberg, I guess, or gores them, taking out majority of them. Of course, Goldberg's going down too because it's like a domino effect here, and Rhino just starts beating up pretty much the security guards who kind of weren't fully taken out by the gore. Just probably smacking him against the wall. He's perceived to be this bigger, more dominating person, so one punch just knocks out these security guards. Goldberg's trying to gain his consciousness. Rhino sees it happening. He backs up a bit. He runs at Goldberg again, hits him with the gore. This time he hits Goldberg straight on, no security guard or anything. Goldberg eats the gore, and then Rhino just proceeds to pound on him, pretty much taking everything he can find in the back. Steel chairs, the pipes that are just sitting in the random trash bin for no reason, other random items just sitting around there. I don't imagine food being thrown. They're not in the catering area, so he's just beating the living hell out of Goldberg until finally the security guards manage to get back up and separate Rhino from Goldberg, who is just sitting there selling as best, I guess, as Goldberg can sell. And he's just bloodied. He's checking his blood, and Rhino's just spitting at him, talking trash, all sorts of stuff. So Rhino takes out Goldberg. Goldberg, and I'd imagine this kind of being one of those iconic moments. Goldberg's making his entrance. Well, not his entrance, but he's walking with the security guards, and the guards and Goldberg taken out by one guy. Yeah, I'd imagine that puts over Rhino big. And then we get ready for the main event. 91 solid A rating here. Holy shit, dude. Mark Jindrak, you have no right getting a 91 solid A with The Rock when Mean Gene Okerlund can only get an 88 B plus or whatever the hell it was. Good for you, Mark Jindrak. Anyway, we're back from our commercial break. A recap is shown of, Rhino beating down on Goldberg. And the commentators are putting over that. With that being said, Goldberg has been taken to the hospital. He will not be able to compete here tonight against The Rock. So, swerve! We're not getting Rock and Goldberg. But that's when The Rock's music plays. Out comes the People's Champion who poses for the crowd. He does the catchphrase, "Finally, The Rock has come back to Nitro." But this will be more of a permanent stay for the Great One, because the People's Champion is packing his bags and checking out of the SmackDown Hotel and taking a left off of Know Your Role Boulevard, and he's heading straight until he finds his way to the mean streets that is Thunder Avenue, and he's kicking the doors down to the Nitro Club, and he's laying the smackdown on all your candy asses. First was supposed to be Bill Goldberg, but looks like the human rhinoceros wants to avenge his papa. So guess what? The Rock's schedule is clear. Shane McMahon, get your ass out here. Let's give the people what they want. Rock throws the mic down. He's waiting for Shane McMahon to arrive. He wants the Shane McMahon. The fans are actually probably chanting for Shane McMahon. Shane O'Mac, Shane O'Mac. They want to see Shane O'Mac versus The Rock. Give us this match. But who comes out? The same man who came out on Monday Night Raw when Rock called out Shane McMahon. And that man is Mark Jindrak. And Mark Jindrak comes out, and Rock takes back to the mic and he goes, "Do you have a hearing problem? Because this is the second time in a row The Rock has called for Shane McMahon and you come out. Just because Vince drafted you last, Mark, does not make you his new son." And then Jindrak takes the mic and he goes, "You sure got a lot of jokes, don't you, Rock?" Well, you're joking yourself if you think Shane McMahon is going to come out here and take your challenge. But you know who is going to step up? Me. Whoa. Didn't The Rock already beat you on Monday Night Raw? More of a reason for us to fight tonight. I'm not going to start my career off in the WWE on the wrong foot with a loss to you. So yeah, you beat me on Monday. But can you do it again? You bet a monkey's ass The Rock can do it again and again and again and again. So if you want the Rock, Rock takes his shirt off, maybe does like a Hulk Hogan rip, takes the glasses and throws them off. Then come get the Rock, you giant tumor. And Mark Jindrak throws the mic down. He races towards the ring, and we get ready for our main event tonight for the second time in a row. Mark Jindrak getting that push. Rock versus Mark Jindrak in the main event. Rock looked good. Mark Jindrak was underwhelming, but again, mostly because of popularity. We move on to the next segment. Main event of the night. Solid 80 rated B. And again, they had great chemistry. We had to pull it off one time. I mean, this is the last time they're going to fight each other realistically when you think about it. Because, I mean, they're on different brands now. So solid 80B, not too bad. In fact, I think that was better than their last performance, or last match. So we have a superb match here. Mark Jindrak,
You guys heard that right.
Mark Jindrak defeats The Rock in 7 minutes 58 seconds by pinfall after using a foreign object. Aw, Marky Mark went to use a foreign object? That's a bit disappointing. I don't think he needed to use a foreign object, but that's what the game decided for him to use. I'm not really sure. But the big thing here is Shane McMahon distracting The Rock. Shane McMahon's music hits. I maybe imagine The Rock going for the people's elbow or something like that. And, Shane McMahon's music hits. Out he comes. He's doing his whole dance and all that, making his way slowly down the ring. The Rock's just sitting there talking his trash, telling him, just bring it, you jabroni, blah, blah, blah. And he turns around, gets the mark of perfection from Mark Jindrak, which I don't know what the mark of perfection is, but what I'd like to imagine it to be is pretty much what Buddy Murphy's finisher is, the Murphy's Law. So that's what I imagine he hits The Rock with. And 1, 2, 3, he pins The Rock. I don't imagine no foreign object or anything. So despite that, I'm saying he pins The Rock. They have great in-ring, the great chemistry showed in their performance. Mark Jindrak in-ring performance of a 71, Rock with a 96, and Mark Jindrak got some, protected for, so that helped him out. Good charisma, star quality. Jindrak's a star. Holding back, apparently. Good momentum. What is this? A low Aquaman morale. Good stuff. This is pretty good. I'm happy with that match. And then we end off the night with a 78 solid B rating. Again, didn't write much out of this. Rock is laying in the ring. He's down from the mark of perfection. And Shane McMahon is going to take full advantage of this. He gets into the ring. Rock is laying in the middle of the ring. And Shane McMahon proceeds to, kick Rock's elbow. Do the whole mocking of the Rock, like bounces off the ropes. I like how I did the mocking thing, but there's no webcam or anything on, so you guys can't see it. But he bounces off the ropes. He goes to hit the people's elbow on the Rock, but Rock bounces up without Shane expecting it, catches Shane McMahon, hits him with the Rock bottom. The crowd erupts, I'd imagine, because Shane McMahon got his comeuppance right there. And then Rock talks his trash. Maybe he hit Shane McMahon with the people's elbow before he sends the crowd home happy and poses with them and ends off the show like that. 78 solid B rating here. And what do we get for the actual show? 85 B plus. We didn't lose popularity. No specific comics to be made. But to be honest, I'm happy with that. I think that was a fine show. And I really don't think the backstage thing really affected us all that much. I mean, you can see it did have a little effect. I'd like to see how this show did without the backstage morale. But I really don't think it would have been that worse. But I think that was a good show. And there you have it. That's the draft. At least the first 10 superstars. I know I said I was going to show you guys the draft, but how long have we been recording? Let me pull up the Twilight Zone here for a second. We've been recording for over an hour, so I'm actually going to end off this video. I think I'll make a separate video and upload it on the side. I'll make it directly after this, kind of showcasing the draft and everything from there. But with that being said, I will... what do we got here? Well, let's not end it yet. Oh, D'Lo Brown believes he's ready to be brought up to the main roster. He doesn't feel like he's getting any more benefit in HWA. I think it's time we call D'Lo Brown up. Okay, just incredible. My momentum is in the toilet. You need to book me stronger for a while, or I'll be dead in the water. Okay. Apparently Kevin Nash says Russ Haas doesn't connect with the fans. Kurt Angle says Boss Man needs to learn how to sell. And Hulk Hogan said Steven Richards doesn't connect with the fans. All right. What do we got here? Oh, some contract negotiations. We're hiring Nick Patrick. We're also gonna hire Scotty 2 Hottie. We're not. We're re-signing them, I should say. And we're hiring Joey Styles. I know, another announcer, right? I'm crazy, but we are. All right. So Nitro got fantastic reviews. That's good stuff. Spud, like Rockstar Spud? I wonder. And before we end this off, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call up D'Lo Brown. That way I don't forget. So if he's champion, it's a shame, but he is upset. He doesn't want to be down there much longer. So let's go ahead and hire, or not hire, but bring him up. Is he champion, though? He is. Damn it, D'Lo. All right, well, we're going to have him working down there. Let's just... Isn't there just to work down there? Yeah, just to work down there. We're just gonna have him to work down there. Once he drops the title, I'll call him up. I really don't like doing that, but yeah. So that's gonna be the end of the episode. I will see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed, leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't done already, and as always, don't forget to share this video with your friends, Facebooks, Twitters, and Instagrams. Certainly helped your homeboy out here. So anyway, I'm done rambling. I'll see you guys, I guess, in a bit for the reveal of the entire roster and all that. So until then, have a good one, guys. Hopefully I'm doing this right.